welcome back to a crazy little thing called Lovdev. I hope you're all well. Now, before we get into today's episode, I was actually torn between two titles this week, but in the end, I eventually settled for this one. So hopefully, by the time you get to the end of today's episode, it will just all make sense. In today's show, it's packed. I'll tell you about my latest bike ride to the gym and why I've never been so exhausted in my life. Plus, I'm trying out a brand new feature called Puns Without Pictures. Then we're going to head down the internet rabbit hole with a couple of obviously Reddit posts that really got me talking, a fascinating story from history, and of course, today's weird news story is one of those stories where you'd go, nah, no way that happened. It did. Grab yourself a brew, get comfortable, and let's not mess about. It's episode 233, No Pressure Washer. Good day to you all, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever it is you lot are listening to this. As always, I have to say that. I don't know why I have to say that. I've sorted out my sound system. I think I have. It's a lot more louder and clearer now. I think you lot will probably notice that. There was a lot of hissing noise I found. I don't know if you guys heard the hissing noise, but on my end I could hear it. I don't know whether it was my computer or the software. It turns out it was the software. I was like, I can't even use it. For some reason on my computer, I clicked on it, and then you can mess about with the settings, and it wouldn't work. So I asked my trusty friend, obviously, you all know who, Chat LGBTQ+, and he was like, oh, mate, it's something to do with your motherboard, your chip, because I use an AMD computer, and apparently this software is not very compatible with it, so I'm going to have to download an older version, which I did, installed that. It sounds so much better, much more clearer. I wish I'd done it before, but I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't matter now, does it? It is louder. I've noticed that. It's better. Well, it's way better now. Oh, mate. Well, we're there now. So we can do whatever we want. I don't even know why I'm laughing, man. It's probably the weather. We've still got that lovely weather here. Still nice and warm in the UK. Now, the reason I say the UK is because I've noticed I've got a lot of followers. I say followers, I mean listeners. Like, it seems to be spreading across the globe now. I've got Turkey, Romania. I didn't know I had any in Romania. I've got some in India, Ireland, El Salvador. Can't even say the country. El Salvador, Brazil, Guatemala, I need a Guatemala, Denmark, Austria, Russia, Australia, South Korea, and Chile. But believe it or not, most of my listeners are based in the United States. They have overtook the UK. At one point, UK was always on top, but now it is the US. US, thank you to my US listeners out there. So yeah, 44% is in North America. And then we've got 43% in Europe, 7% in Asia, 0 in Africa. Nobody in Africa wants to listen to me. They probably haven't got any internet. That's what it is. But South America, 2%. That's not too bad. And then we got the Oceania Islands. That's 1% on downloads. That's how I am looking at the moment. But that was for the last episode. So all episodes, actually Europe, you're still on top for all the episode downloads. But America is not far off, so thank you so much for that. I think I'm laughing and I'm happy because it actually sounds so much clearer now, doesn't it? So yes, as I was saying earlier on, I'm enjoying the weather. Yesterday, I had one of the most tiring days in my life. So I went to the gym and I took my bike. I rolled down to the gym because my car is still in the garage, believe it or not. And my mechanic said, "Oh, yours is priority now. We're gonna make sure you get it definitely by next week." Whether that happens or not, I don't even know. I've got a couple of corporate gigs booked in as well. I'm doing a holiday park in Skegness, and I'm closing that for a promoter called Jokers Entertainment. So Jokers are they run loads of like holiday park gigs, cruise ships, stuff like that. So hopefully I will be doing that. That will be on Tuesday, and I will need my car then, and I will tell you guys how that show went on the next episode. So yeah, I've been riding my bike, as I said. That's what I was meant to tell you guys. And on yesterday, I said to my son, "Should we go for a bike ride?" Because you guys know that he knows now how to ride a bike, and I'm trying to build his confidence up. Now, originally he wouldn't leave the area, so it had to be somewhere like an empty car park or like a pavement nearby. He wouldn't really. He was a bit hesitant, and I said to him, "Let's go down to the local park, which is about a mile ride away." I said, "Let's go down there. We can ride round and round the park. It's quite a big park. It's called Whitton Lakes in near where I live, and it's got two lakes. It's a really big place, and I think it's like a mile or half a mile to cycle all the way around it." So we did that. We went down there, and we did about 5 laps all the way around. And then I said, "Let's go and get a drink from the shop." So we rolled up to the shop, got a drink, got him some snacks, and then I thought, let's go to the other end of the park. Now this is separated by a main road, and that is more of like a cycle lane. So we went on that cycle lane and we rolled down, and I was knackered. I was absolutely shattered, and I think he was as well, because I said to him, "I think we should go home now. We've been bike riding for 2 hours, just over 2 hours, in all honesty." I said, we need to go back home now, don't you think so?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's go back." So on the way back, we went back through the park, and my son started getting a bit agitated, like, because he's autistic. He was complaining, he was moaning, he was going, the wind is blowing me off." I said, "It's not even windy." There was a slight breeze, and I was like, just get on the bike, man. What's wrong with you?" He was just knackered. I don't think I've ever been that tired. And my missus, cheeky, she goes, "Oh, it's because you're getting old." I said, "Because I'm getting old." I said, "I've been cycling for hours, and I've been to the gym." She thinks I'm just getting old. I don't even know. Do you know what is not getting old? Well, it's kind of old. It's what the... Yes, what is today's what the... The elephant that had someone living inside its leg. Yeah, let me just tell you that one again. The elephant that had someone living inside its leg. How does somebody live inside of an elephant's leg? I'm presuming it's not a real elephant. Let's go back to this story. It takes us to Paris, where, believe it or not, there was once a giant elephant standing in the middle of the city. It's got to be a statue. After the French Revolution, Napoleon had a grand idea. The Bastille prison had to be torn down, and he wanted to replace it with something that would celebrate France's military victories. His plan was a 78-foot tall bronze elephant. Not just any elephant. It was supposed to be a cast from the bronze of a captured enemy cannon with a staircase inside of one of its legs. So visitors could actually climb all the way to the top, and it was going to be a symbol of the French power and Napoleon's legacy. But there was one problem. They never actually built the bronze version. Instead, in 1814, they created a full-size model made of plaster and wood. Now imagine spending all that money to build a life-sized elephant, but only it to be the practice version. Now Napoleon soon fell from power, the funding disappeared, and the temporary elephant became permanent. And this is where the story gets even weirder, to be honest with you. The elephant stood there for around 30 years and it slowly fell apart. The rain damaged the plaster, the weeds started growing all over it, and then rats reportedly made it a house. But somebody still had to look after it, and that was a man called Levasseur. He was hired as a caretaker rather than travelling to work every day. He actually lived in one of the elephant's legs. Now imagine telling your mates that, yeah, I live in an elephant. Apparently, he had a one small room inside where he watched over his giant crumbling monument, while the rest of Paris just carried on around him. Now, eventually, in 1846, the elephant started deteriorating so badly that they had to demolish it. Now, ironically, it became far more famous after it disappeared. The elephant was later immortalized in Victor Hugo's novel Les Miserables. Or is it Les Miserables? Whatever it's called. Now, where the street child, Gavroche, used the abandoned elephant as a place to sleep. So the next time someone tells you that they live in a little tiny house, remember that somebody actually once lived inside of a leg of a giant elephant in the middle of Paris. And you know what? As we're on the subject of France, I picked a no stupid question, and it's to do with France. No stupid questions. No friggin' stupid questions. That's enough of that. I had to find that little beat for this bit of the podcast. It's a no stupid question. That's to do with France. Put up by somebody called Traveller Nomad on the Reddit forum. His question is it true that cheating is extremely common in France? I didn't know this. Now all I know is French women have got hairy legs, and the French love to eat frogs. But I didn't know that cheating is very common in France. But is it true or not? I don't know, mate. Let's find out. Traveller Nomad says he's American, but he currently lives in the UK. Oh, hello. Brits have a stereotype that French people cheat a lot. It's the first I've heard of it. Anecdotally, I've also had a handful of interactions with French people myself, where they seemingly downplayed or even justified cheating on a partner. Recently, I read somewhere that the majority of French men and a third of the French women have cheated on a partner at some point in their life. Oh, mate, is there any truth to this? I don't know, you know. I might have to ask me trusty friend. I never really gave it much thought until recently when I got involved in a situationship with a French woman. She wants a more serious relationship with me, but I'm very hesitant because of my impression of this aspect of the French culture. So he's dating a French woman, and she wants it to take it further, basically. But he doesn't want to take it too far in case she says, oh, I fancy cheating on you. Well, even if she did, you'll never know, would you? According to my French LGBTQ+, he's answered it for me, or she has, or AI. It's AI, ain't it? That's who it is. Apparently, there is some truth to the stereotype, but it's often exaggerated. Surveys over the years have found that France reports relatively high rates of infidelity compared with some other countries. However, the exact figures vary a lot depending on the survey. How cheating is defined and how willing people are to admit to it. France has also historically had more relaxed cultural attitudes towards extramarital affairs than other countries like the US or the UK. Public figures in France have often faced less scrutiny over their private relationships than they would elsewhere. Now, according to LBGTQ, Plus, it would be a mistake to assume an individual French person is more likely to cheat simply because they're French. There are millions of faithful people in France, just as there are unfaithful people in every country. Now he's answered your question. If you're considering a relationship with this woman, I'd judge her based on her character, values, and past behaviour. Now that bit is true. Not on a national stereotype. Just have an honest conversation about your expectations in the relationship becoming serious. Now that's a far better predictor of compatibility than her nationality. And that is what Chat LGBTQ Plus has said. And yeah, I kind of agree. Like, how much do you know this woman? Can she really be trusted? Is this the woman that you'd want to spend the rest of your life with? Who knows? But I didn't know that the French were known for that. All I knew was the French are known for eating snails, like I said. Oh, God. I'm going to get in trouble. Puns without pictures. So I'm going to describe the picture and then I'm going to tell you what the pun is. I mean, it doesn't help because it's an audio podcast. If there was any way I could get this as a video, which can be done if you buy me a coffee, but the coffee would have to cost you about £10,000, then maybe I could just set up a camera and we could do puns without pictures. So here we go. These are all puns that I've found online, and I'll describe the picture for you first. Now, there's a picture of a wallet with a sister in it, and someone has put down, how much money do you have in your wallet right now? Me, none. So there's a none in a wallet. I don't think this is going to last very long, is it? Here's a Star Trek one. I spent my entire life savings on pasta. That's awful. Nah, it's worth every penny. As in penny. Here's another picture of a couple waiting to enter a restaurant. How long for a table? About 9 feet. No, the weight. Oh, it's about £90. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it's just hilarious. Now, there's a picture of, it looks like a field. It's a road with a sign next to it. And it says, past this sign, and my 10-year-old daughter says, looks like someone drove over the speed limit. And, oh, I get it. Because the speed limit sign is down on the floor. Looks like somebody drove over the speed limit. There's another picture. I haven't even seen half of these. It's a picture of a man looking at a receptionist, which appears to be a doctor's surgery. And on the caption, he says, I need a doctor's appointment. And she says, okay, how about 10 o'clock tomorrow? He says, no, I don't need that many. Here's one without a picture. Interesting. Went to the doctor with a suspicious mole. He told me they all look like that way and to take it back to the woods. Oh, God, mate. Things I've got to do just to cover myself on this podcast, I'll tell you. Now, a friend of mine, Steve Lee, I was on the phone to him yesterday and he suggested something. He said, why don't you get your listeners to ask you questions? So it can be a question on anything. It could be about my personal life, just the world in general, or whatever you think, whatever you fancy. So I thought, that's not a bad idea. I will give it a try, but I doubt anyone will respond back to me because nobody ever does. There's only one person who listens to this podcast on YouTube, and he always comments on my videos. If you do have a question, there is easy ways you can do that. If you watch this directly from the Buzzsprout website of my podcast, you can send me a message, or just send me a message on my socials. You know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook. You can even send me an email if you want to. If you do have a question, let me know what it is, and I will read it out on the next episode. Now, I was trying to find a topic to what can we talk about. Then I thought, do you know what? Just do the British problem. Let's do that, and then let's call it a day. I don't know what day we're going to call it, but we'll call it whatever day you want it to. So here is today's British problem. Yeah, British problems. The United Kingdom will always have it. We will never be British if we never had a problem, honestly. So here is today's one, posted by somebody called Quizats Hadarak. I've probably said their username wrong. Probably, I ain't gonna lie. What is their British problem? They're saying they are absolutely heartbroken about what Walls have done to the feast. Now, before I carry on reading, because I initially thought Walls Sausages, but I think it's the same company. I'm not sure. I think they are, aren't they? Yeah, they are the same company. Those of you out there are probably thinking, what the hell is Walls? Do you mean Walls as in the thing that's made out of bricks? Walls is a company that I think they produce meat and dairy products. Now, she's referring, or they are, I don't know what their gender is, they're referring to ice creams. So Walls are an ice cream company, and they've got something called the Feast. Maybe you get it in the US. I don't know. You probably do. Maybe it's available everywhere. You've probably got something very similar. So something like Aldi would have their own version of a Feast. I forgot what it's called, but I've had a few of them. Quizats is saying, I'm writing this in the hopes that some plucky social media or community manager may stumble upon this as it passes up the chain. In reality, I know this will almost certainly fall on deaf ears. Unless you're hard hearing. I'm really saddened by the recent change Walls have made to the formula. The structure of the iconic Feast ice cream. Now, I agree, it's not the same, is it? It's not like how it used to be. It seems to be thinner, and the chocolate doesn't appear to be chocolate. Let's see what Quizats is got to say about this. I picked up a packet a few weeks back during the height of the heat wave, and when I opened one at home, I was quite surprised. Gone was the creamy chocolate ice cream and the solid slab of chocolate as its heart. Instead, I burrowed through a rather tasteless, watery white ice cream to find a rather waxy chocolate blob in the middle. Oh, God, this is a proper British problem. I wrote it off assuming I'd accidentally picked up a sub-brand of the ice cream, a nut variant or a limited run. A few follow-ups to trips to Sainsbury's didn't result in discovering any original Feast, and a follow-up on Google search revealed the depressing truth. The formula has been changed. No! Of course it has. Everything's been changed, Bab. Look at Cadbury's chocolate. It's awful now. Growing up, my mother was a bit of a germaphobe and was never keen on my brother or I getting ice creams out of the machine when the ice cream van came round. It was packaged ice creams for us only. The Feast was our go-to. It was a ritual. That first little bite through the crisp outer layer. Oh, God, you're making me hungry. Revealing the chocolate ice cream and the inner chocolate bar. Slowly working your way down both the sides and nibbling away at the ice cream to uncover the bar. Slowly licking off the remnants of the ice cream until the chocolate block was all that was left. And then the snap of that hard-earned bite into the chocolate bar. It was the only way to eat one. Years later, living with my wife, always a bloke, whenever summer rolled around, we would stock up the freezer with our favourite ice cream. She would often go for a mint cornetto or a choc ice cream. I would always go for the Feast. My best friend shares my love of Feast. He works in retail at a supermarket and would often message to let me know when they've gone on sale. In this rather depressing time of shrinkflation, tariffs and Brexit impacting the availability of some brands and ingredients. I didn't know that. Is that a bit true? And climate change sending ripples through the growth of other ingredients. You can never go a few months without some beloved child treat changing for the worse. I agree. It's a sad time, and I can only hope someone somewhere sees these sorts of messages and passes them up the chain. Unfortunately, I don't know anyone at Walls, so it's only a small thing, but then again, they could be listening to this. One's a favourite ice cream. But every time the world chips away those small things from us, life becomes just that tiny bit sadder. God, that is a little bit depressing, isn't it? He's put an edit up. A few people have complained that I use chat LGBTQ+ to tidy up the text. Don't worry, mate. I do it all the time. Didn't want that to distract from my point, so I've replaced the text to what I originally wrote before I passed it through. If it still reads robotic, that's just how I write. Don't worry about it, mate. Do you know what? Walls. It's true, though. The ice creams have changed, haven't they? It is a proper British problem. Now, I ain't going to lie. When the weather is like this, I love an ice cream. Oh, my God. I've started making my own Cuisats. What if you go to Aldi? Now, I'm not promoting them, and I'm sure other supermarkets do it. Go to Aldi, and you'll find those cones. What do they call them? You know, the ice cream cones, just the bare ice cream cone. Grab that. Grab your favourite topping. I don't know, whatever it is, Napoleon, vanilla, strawberry. I'm on about the ones with the tub ice cream, the Gelato. Get some of that, and just chuck it in. That's what I do now with the kids. Chuck it in. Turn it into a proper ice cream, and then you can just buy the syrup, the strawberry one, the chocolate one, whatever, vanilla one, whatever they got. Pour it over. It looks like an ice cream that you just got from the ice cream van. Cheap as chips. Everyone's happy. Everyone gets an ice cream, and you haven't even spent a lot. That's my solution. Right, folks. We've come to the end of the podcast. As always, you lot know that. This is what Lovdev does now. He does a British problem, and then he's got to end it with a weird news story, which I've yet to find, to be honest with you. So here is today's weird news story. A priest blesses worshippers with a pressure washer. Of course, why not? A pressure washer, nice and easy, isn't it? What's the point of just, I don't know how they do it. How do you bless someone? Do you have to dip their head in? Do you have to get a bath? Do you have to do it in a pool? Makes it so much easier if you just get a pressure washer, isn't it? And that's what happened in the western part of a Mexican state. A Catholic priest named Michoacana has gone viral after a video showed him using a pressure washer to spray holy water over a crowd during a Patreon Saint festival. The footage, widely shared across TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, shows Father Ruben Perez Rubio, that's his proper name. Michoacán was the city where he did it. Oh, God. Right, Ruben. In the bed of a white pickup truck during celebrations, he was honouring the St. James the Apocalypse in Contipec, now which is a Michoacán municipality of 35,000. I don't even know what I said there myself. Ruben was holding a washer. He directs a stream of holy water, like a frigging machine gun, towards dozens of parishioners gathered outside the church. The unusual method allowed the priest to reach a large crowd at once. That's the way to do it, isn't it? With attendees including women, children, and elderly, reacting with laughter, I bet there was, raised hands and applause as they received the blessing. May my magnanimous mercy pour out its grace upon you all. This is what he said in Spanish. Local accounts cited by El Universal and other media outlets say the approach was intended to ensure no one was left out with the holy water spray during one of the municipality's most important annual religious celebrations, which draws large numbers of residents and visitors. Now, the video went viral very quick, generating thousands of comments and sparking debate about the balance between tradition and innovation in religious practice. Some social media users praise the priest's creativity and practicality, saying the method helped engage the community and adapt to very large crowds. Others question whether using a pressure washer diminished the solemnity of a ritual typically performed with a traditional aspergillium. I don't even know what that is. Additional criticism focused on what some described as a waste of holy water and a lack of reverence. Still, many commenters framed the act as a light-hearted moment that reflected a more accessible and modern approach. As of Friday, Perez Rubio has not publicly commented on the video. St. James the Apostolos, or Santiago in Spanish, is honored across Latin America and Spain as a patron of pilgrims and towns, whose July the 25th feast day blends with Catholic rituals in a local tradition. In Michoacan, which is the patron saint festival, for him to typically feature special masses, processions through the streets, music, and cultural activities. You know what I'm thinking now? It's actually not a bad idea. You know, like when there's a war or there's a riot, I know that the police use like spray cannons, don't they, to get rid of the crowd. What if they said, "This is holy water"? How would people react to that? That's what I want to know. Could you imagine? Would you do that? I would do that if I was a copper or an army cadet, whatever you call them, on top of this tank, and I've got to spray a load of protesters. I'll be like, "Stand back! There is going to be holy water sprayed upon all of you." There is a picture of this Reuben dude who's holding an actual pressure washer. It looks like he's holding it like sideways. So you know, like when you see a movie and the gangsters are shooting, that's how he's holding it, like a machine gun. Mental. There you have it. Today's weird news story and the end of the podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed it, you can buy me a coffee or just, I don't know, send me a message. As I said earlier, if you've got any questions, send them through. And also, do let me know how you found today's recording, because to me, I think it's way better. The sound is a lot clearer and it saves me faffing about with it. So that's it. That's today's episode. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will tell you how I got on at the holiday park. Bye-bye.